podcasts and they listening to your music.
Yeah, I've had that experience like 3 times. I haven't had that too much, but as far as
that's a weird feeling.
Yeah, it is.
Right? Like,
it's
like me walking through Greenville and seeing somebody wearing one of my shirts. It's like, dang, it's a good feeling. Let people know that, let you know that people behind what you're doing.
Yeah, it's. I always say it's just like somebody takes something like they're carrying a piece of you that you probably intended to only be for yourself, but you put it out there into the world, and people, they either felt the message, they felt it, or seen the vision, and they adopted it. To me, that's heavy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's one of the most beautiful things that can happen to a person is somebody takes what's inside your head and basically like adapts it and makes it kind of, I'm gonna say make it their own, but I don't know, man. It's hard to put that feeling out there, man. It's just when somebody takes something that you intended for yourself and just pushes it for themselves. I don't know. It makes me feel good. A lot of people don't like it. They say, "Well, you're taking my ideas, or you're taking something that I meant for me." But I love it. You know, I feel like that's one of the most important things you can do in this world is impact people. You know.
Yeah, for real. I can get behind that message as well. For sure. What do you think your biggest inspiration for your art comes from? I can feel like it's personal to you, so your life story. But outside of that, outside of like, what's the outside of you and your story? What would you think is like your biggest inspiration?
Family and friends, man. 'Cause like I said before, like I was saying, I had those low moments. I didn't understand how important family and friends were until I got down to those low moments. And a few people had me. They helped me get back to who I was and stuff like that. So I figured if I'm going to do this for anybody outside of myself, I'd do it for them. And then it was one day where, you know, before I got to my low point, I took all my friends out, and all of them, they were going through things. And I was great at the moment. So like anything that we went out to eat, we went to wherever we wanted to go, and I paid for everything. I said, just get what you want. And that felt so good to me. So I want to be able to do that all the time. You know what I'm saying? I don't want anybody around me to need or want for anything, especially if they helped me or impacted me in any way.
Sure.
What about you?
My inspirations are people. I think we get a lot of it wrong every day, and I guess I'm really nobody to say that, but I just picture a world where we learn to live much simpler and healthier, and you only do that with a strong community. And so I think recently that's where my fixation on how to run a business comes from. Just my day-to-day inspiration. Obviously, I got a wife and kid that I love a whole lot, and so they keep me moving. But I suffer from cluster headaches, which is a pretty bad pain diagnosis, to take it lightly. And so I know what it's like to suffer, and I found relief in plants, and I feel like everybody should at least have that knowledge.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if it's not for you, it's not for you, but I'm here to tell you that it can be for you.
Yeah.
Or at least discuss that option when people don't have, like, Western medications for my diagnoses do nothing. Meaning like pharmaceuticals, right? And so you get pretty desperate, and I know what that desperation feels like. I know what the pain feels like. And I want to help as many people as I can not feel like that.
Yeah.
So that's it gets more contagious with the community behind you.
Yeah.
And so that's my focus, but my driving point would be helping people feel better.
You said how long you been married?
9 years this month.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope, man. I always say my most successful friends or the people that are the most genuine people have a significant other, a wife or partner that they've been with and committed with. You know, I got married and it lasted 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was with her for 8 years. So, you said that's one of your driving factors. How much of an impact has it had, on what you do?
It's quite literally everything because, my wife was one that suggested that I take my desperation to the plants to look for relief. She was able to finance the household while I chase this dream.
Yeah.
So that's a big factor. A lot of people don't have that financial support. You know, me and Warren talk about it quite often. It's like people give up in business too soon, but it's because they have to because the mortgage is about to go backwards or whatever. Luckily, I could be in a situation of not having to make money while we build out our brand and try to connect with people because my wife was able to cover that aspect. So, and those are just things like outside of just the general love and wanting to be better for them, right? So,
but those things enhance that, though, right?
Sure. It's like, because I mean, those are obvious for me. And so I start with things that maybe people don't think about, and credits a lot of the business is. I was trying not to hit the mic. Oh, that was close. All right, so I was saying, there's a lot of factors outside of just like loving my wife and kids that drive me and that's helped me along the process. Like, my wife is a big part of the business, but also she held down the house financials on top of being a role in the company, right? So, I mean, it's a big part of everything is just having them around and knowing that I'm trying to do the right things and live right and try to make a little money and I don't know, man. Yeah, just want to do good and be a good dad and be a good husband all and a business owner all at the same time. And it's hard to balance that, especially sometimes when you're in business with your wife because business is tough. So as much as it brings to, sometimes there's a little drama there because of what we accomplish every day together is stressful. So,
no, I definitely feel it. And I guess the last part is kind of like what I was thinking is just like sometimes with everything good, it's always a little bit of not bad, but kind of like it creates another obstacle you got to get through.
Sometimes it's bad, brother. Like,
I didn't want to say bad, but yeah.
Well, and not specifically about my marriage here at this point, but I mean we've had struggles as well, but I'm talking about just life in general. Like to be able to know what that good feels like, you got to go through some hard times. I feel like, right?
Yeah.
And then one day I feel like it's easy to forget what that good feels like
when it's so much bad happening.
When you're at that bottom, and I get where people get lost in that. I've been there time and time again, and truthfully, I fight to stay out of that. Right, I use the plants to keep me from going to that point because it's easy to get to, and I think a lot more of us are prone to it than people realize, and to keep from getting there, because again, when you get there, you don't see anything good.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just step back, and I know that's so stupid to say because you can't, but if you just step back and be present at the same time, I know it sounds a little contradicting, but you can really see that there's a lot of good going around you all the time.
Yeah.
But if one bad thought can snowball really quickly.
Yeah, I always say like we take all the good stuff and the positive stuff around us. We take it for granted a lot because it's just like, all right, boom, like the light fixtures. We don't walk into the room and be like, that light's doing its job. That's a great light. We don't do that. Yeah. But as soon as it goes out, you notice it, right. And that's all you can focus on. Then we need to get that light fixed. So what I try to do to combat that low point that you're talking about, I just try to look at those things that are going right. I will look at the light fixture now, just speaking hypothetically, but I'll look at the light fixture and be like, damn, it's great that I have that. It's great that I'm able to do these things. Like I think last week I worked probably about 80 hours, and I caught myself saying, damn, I'm working too much. I'm doing too much. But then I started thinking like, I actually get the opportunity to work this much. I actually get the opportunity to make something better of myself, and I'm doing it for a reason. So what the hell am I complaining about? You know?